guys, we are back with another video. Before we get into the video, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. So fans are very upset with Titanic Records. As we know, Cardi B called them out, basically said that somebody was playing on her head top. A lot of people are speculating that could be Elliot Grange, who is the new CEO of Titanic Records and is not giving Cardi B a budget because she is allegedly shelved after waiting 8 years to put out her album. Fans are threatening Elliot Grange, saying that they're going to kill his mom, even though she technically is already dead, and that Cardi B should file a lawsuit against Titanic Records for sabotaging her. That's what the fans are saying. Now, a lot of people are wondering, does she have a case? Many artists have sued their label. Champagne Thickums accused Universal of sabotaging his career and giving Not Like Us bots. Okay? Here's the thing though. I don't feel like you can sue for being shelved, because Cardi B probably owes Titanic money. And that's another reason why they probably reluctant to put out her album. If she was such a cash cow, and if they knew that they were going to recoup money from Cardi B, they would have definitely forced her to put out the album. They wouldn't even tell her, listen, we're going to allow you to take a 9-year break. She's not Rihanna. And, Rihanna had put out 8 albums before she took her break. They do not make money off of Cardi B. Cardi B is not a cash cow. They probably have accumulated more debt from having Cardi B on their roster, and that's what they really mad about. Okay? And also, on top of that, a lot of artists have gotten shelved. Normani has gotten shelved. Tinashe has gotten shelved. And they are way more talented than Cardi B. So, if they have gotten shelved and couldn't sue, I don't think Cardi B can. Unfortunately, I feel as though Garbage Gang, they're a little bit delusional. Okay? They think Cardi B is bigger than the program, but she's not. Just like Champagne Thickums ain't bigger than Universal. So, with that being said, y'all gotta go outside and touch some grass. Cardi B does not have a case. Okay? And that's why, to this day, Tasha K hasn't really given her $4 million. She can go to court all she want. That don't mean she gonna get any money. Now, moving on from that was Nicki Minaj sabotage by Camel Face. Unfortunately, Nicki Minaj and Wayne's Banned From No fails to enter the U.S. and global Payola chart, and it only did 248,000 streams for their collaboration that they just dropped on Payola. Now, with that being said, some fans feel like, Nicki and Wayne are being sabotaged. Other people are saying that they did not like the remix and it was trash. I really feel like Nicki Minaj helped Wayne. In my opinion, I feel like with Nicki on it, the song sounds better. But a lot of fans are saying that the song is trash and that it's a flop. But the funny part about this is she did more streams. Her and Wayne did more streams than Cardi B did for On The Money. So it's like, how you guys gonna say it's a flop, but yet, On The Money didn't even do that many streams, okay? Now, for Wayne and Nicki, they're bigger artists than Cardi B and Rob 49. But at the end of the day, I feel like Nicki Minaj was just trying to help Wayne. And with that being said, I've always said this, and it's no shade, but I never really gag over Wayne being on the record with Nicki because, one, he barely promotes the record. Him and Champagne Thickums do that all the time, where they barely promote a record that they are on with Nicki Minaj. And I feel like Wayne recently in years has been less creative musically. Okay, it seems as though he don't like to put a lot of effort into his projects. I didn't think his album was trash though. People are dragging it, saying that it's trash. But I also feel like he's getting a lot of backlash because of how he acted about the Super Bowl. So people are turning against him. Now, moving on from that, Megan Thee Stallion will respond to Nicki Minaj's remix. She threw some shots at Doja Cat, Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion. Now, there's been a debate about the father line. Is it about Megan Thee Stallion or Doja Cat? Nicki Minaj said, they won't go farther. Hoes ain't got fathers. Don't call me mother. You Hoes Ain't My Daughters. Every season in a win tour 10-4. Gag City for the win tour. Now, with that being said, I feel like the line for You Hoes Don't Have Fathers, it wouldn't logically make sense for it to be Doja Cat, because Doja Cat does have her father. He's alive. He talks about Doja Cat in interviews. A lot of people don't pay attention to it, but Doja Cat's father actively talks about Doja Cat. But the problem is that Doja Cat doesn't really like her father because he was in and out of her life. And as for Megan, I feel like that line would make more sense for Megan because she don't have her father at all. Father's dead. Before he was dead, he was in jail. Okay, that's fatherless. Fatherless doesn't mean when your father is around and you just don't want to have a relationship with him because when he was younger, he might not have been around you and your mom. Okay, that's a deadbeat. Okay, now she said deadbeat in the record, then Doja Cat would have to come to the front of the congregation. But fatherless means that you don't have a parent at all. And I think it kind of plays on to, the lied on your dead mama. Okay, she's playing on that. Like, you hoes don't have fathers and you lied on your dead mama in Bigfoot. Now, as for, don't call me mother, y'all not my daughters. That line, I do believe, is about Doja Cat. Okay, because Doja Cat has been very wishy-washy with Nicki Minaj. 1 minute she shows love, next minute she dissing. But Doja Cat always gets compared musically to Nicki Minaj. Megan did too at one moment in time, but Doja Cat, she can do pop records, she can do rap records. She's more of a diverse artist, similar to Nicki. Plus, she used to copy Roman a lot. Megan Thee Stallion can't really do that. So I feel like it can really go for both of them realistically, but it just doesn't make sense to say Doja Cat's fatherless. She's not fatherless. She just don't want to have a relationship with her father. I mean, Champagne Thickums' father wasn't around all the time when he was younger, but he has a relationship with his father now. He's not fatherless. Yeah, so I don't know if it really makes sense to say Doja Cat is fatherless. But that's just my take on it. But either way, Megan Thee Stallion is planning on responding to Nicki Minaj. She feels as though Nicki Minaj keeps talking about her records. And Megan allegedly believes that the father line is about her. And she feels as though Nicki always talking about her family members or talking about how like she ain't got no family. Okay, she feels as though, the Barbs and Nicki Minaj always talk about that, so she will be responding to Nicki Minaj. Now, as for Doechii finally received her Grammy for Best Rap Album for her mixtape that she dropped last year. And allegedly her and her team are trying to correlate her winning, Best Rap Album for the 2026 Grammys. And I feel like when it comes to rap albums, the only people that really deserve nominations for 2026 Grammys is Playboy Bottom Pussy Cardi, even though I think his album was trash. It was very popular. And then also G0ES. Everybody else album don't deserve no type of Grammy nominations. Not Lil Baby, not Wayne, no shade. It would only be 2 people. So I feel like Doechii might have a good chance of winning, something in the hip hop category. But I don't think she's going to win Best Hip Hop Album for 2026. I think it's definitely going to Kung Fu Kenny. G0ES, that was really the rap album of the year so far. Rap album. Okay? Luther, still top 5 on the Hot 100. All of his songs on that album were platinum. He's on a stadium world tour with SZA. I feel like it only makes sense for it to go to Kung Fu Kenny. Now, Queen B sets trends. It was announced that Queen B influenced the Grammys to add a new category to the country genre for the Grammys. Okay, the new category will be Best Traditional Country Album, which will join the other 4 country categories. This comes after Queen B won Best Country Album and also Album of the Year. So that is, how she influenced the Grammys. I'm not shocked that they're doing that, because even though Queen Bee put out a country album, it wasn't traditional. So, you know, if a black artist put out a country album, they might give them best country album, but then they gonna give the white people best traditional country album. I see what they trying to do. Okay, they playing chess and not checkers. They also introduced another category that, you know, they're kind of bringing back. It was, you know, a category that they had back in the day, but the category is best album cover. Okay, for the 2026 Grammys, they're gonna do best album cover, and you can win a Grammy for that. And honestly, I think a lot of these artists are going to be motivated to not be cheap and use AI, okay, or not to be so scandalous. For instance, Sabrina Carpenter's album, a chop, okay, so she better not get no type of nominations for best album cover. Absolutely not. That shit was trash. Wayne's album cover, trash too. That was AI though. I think that was AI. He hired somebody to do that, but his album cover is terrible too. So no shade. I think that Wayne and Sabrina Carpenter should not be in this category. Now, speaking of Lil Wayne, Pitch Dork gave the Carter 6 a 2.9 out of 10. Oh my goodness, they dragging Wayne. Why are they doing that to Wayne? What did he do? Goodness gracious. Now, the Beehive, they're clowning Wayne because Camel Face's last album that he dropped 444 had an 8.4 rating. Okay? Now, here's my thing. I feel like the albums were absolutely not the same. Let's be very clear. 444 was about his infidelity with Beyonce. So, of course, he was going to get a better rating because it was more personal. And he was talking about cheating on Beyonce. Of course, everybody was going to listen to it. Wayne, you know, Wayne don't really have much to talk about now. He ain't got no wife. Registration. I mean, what is his daughter name? Refrigerator, whatever her name is. She's older now, so he can't talk about having kids because he ain't got no young kids. I mean, he do have other kids besides, what's her name? Regina. But the point of the matter is, I mean, he don't have any new children. He don't have a wife. He don't have, you know, any new children. He don't really have nothing really going on big in his career right now that he needs to talk about in his album. And I also think his album lacked some substance, and that's probably why I got this rating. But I feel like 2.9 is a little bit low. They should at least gave him a 5 out of 10. I mean, 2.9, come on now. That's something you should give to Ice Spice. How did Ice Spice get a better rating than Lil Wayne? Okay? But allegedly, Camel Toe is actively telling people behind the scenes not to support Wayne's album. And you may be wondering why. Because Wayne and Nicki Minaj, Nicki dissed him on Lil Wayne's song. So he's not happy about that. And then number 2, he did not like how Wayne reacted to the Super Bowl announcement. Okay? Saying that they stole the moment from him. And, you know, he thought he was going to get it. Camel Face did not like that. Okay? So, allegedly, Camel Face is strategically sabotaging Wayne behind the scenes. Not only is he coming for Onika, Tanya, Mirage, now he coming for Wayne after he paid Wayne's taxes. But hopefully, Wayne can call up Camel Face and apologize and make amends. Do I think Wayne needs to apologize? No. But if he wants to still thrive in his career, he might have to. Because he's not going #1 for his album. People are trashing his music. You know, what if his tour don't sell out? This could definitely affect the trajectory of his career in the future. Now, moving on from that, it looks like Nicki Minaj is grateful and accepting Shannon Sharpe's apology that he gave her. She said, LOL, we got a funny little rap bar out of it. Thank you, Shannon, because I was like, child, what I done did now? You never cleared it up to the barb, so I had to avenge them. Ocho Cinco, you know it's all love for life. but I know you laughed when you heard it. Now, let me know, do you guys think Nicki Minaj will go on Shannon Sharpe's podcast and do an interview? Let me know if you guys would be here for that. I think the interview would be interesting. I definitely think the interview would go viral, but I don't know if Nicki could fully trust Shannon Sharpe. Now, technically, she don't need to trust Shannon not so Sharpe because it's not like they're friends, but I feel like he would definitely try to set her up. Okay, he definitely gonna be asking about Megan and Cardi B. He gonna be messy as hell. It's gonna be a very interesting interview, but you know it's gonna be messy as hell. Now, moving on to Cardi B, Botchin' Bitter throws herself right under the bus like she usually do. As we know, she won, what was it, a writer award at the ASCAPs for the culture, which she's not a part of, but that's neither here or there. She went on Spaces and said that she hates writing alone. She said, I hate the idea if you're not writing alone, what you're saying isn't real. AKA, if you don't write your bars by yourself, then what you gotta say don't really matter when you rap. Now, here's the thing with Cardi B. It's not the fact that you cannot write alone, because we know you have little to no talent. It's the fact that you were propped up in the industry to go against Nicki Minaj, and you didn't even have 1/4 of her talent, and you can't write, okay? And you can't really have any lyrical bars in your raps, okay? You don't have one song that's lyrical. Not one. Nicki put out a remix for, Lil Wayne's song, and everybody was dissecting the lyrics. Nobody does that ever with you. So with that being said, it's not even the fact that you don't write, because there's a lot of female rappers that don't write. It's not just, Cardi B. Even from back in the day, Lil Kim didn't write all of her music. Foxy, same thing. A lot of people are writers. But you were propped up to go up against the queen. You were getting compared to Nicki Minaj. So that's the issue. And you fed into it. So that was the problem. This is why you get dragged. And then on top of that, why do you always have to have a writer on every single track? You can't write a bar by yourself, not one fucking line, you lazy bitch. I mean, come on now. So I'm not falling for the excuses, okay? You can fool Garbage Gang, but you definitely cannot fool me. Now, moving on to the GOAT, Kung Fu Kenny shut down his stadium concert in Toronto so badly that people were asking for an encore for Not Like Us, okay? So it looks like people are calling Kung Fu Kenny, and it's no shade, they're calling him the king of Toronto now, because he the only rapper that could do a stadium concert in Toronto. I think Eminem probably could do one. But how come Champagne Thickums can't? But anywho, let's take a listen. Honestly, this is disrespectful to Champagne Thickums. I'm like, goodness gracious, his own city, his own place turned against him. One more time for Not Like Us. It's been a whole year. That's just disrespectful. I was Champagne Thickums. I would never perform in Toronto ever again. Okay? I would boycott it. Because how you going to tell them to perform it one more time? And the song is about me. Okay? Just disrespectful. But anyway, I got some very hot tea on Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively, Big Billy, and Nate Wolf on Patreon. Link will be in the description. Have a great day.